seconds. Okay, so stage is yours.
Thank you. So presenting the results, the production results of the project ICODEP, that's really like a 3D brochure and project as performance. Here are the main contributors, and quite happy that two of these after their career research project. So what the presentation is about, we talk about the evaluations of the project, look at the experimental setup, first we analyze the data evolution, and then we will talk the two main part of the two main objectives of the project. We look at some of the numerical models as part of the third objective. So what we want to do. So usually in design of coastal structure, we look at storms isolated. So the paradigm of the design storm, which is look at a storm in a certain return period and what it does to your defense. But storms may come into the sequence, and in the UK we had the sequence in 2013, started in November, ended up in March, very active season. And what you see sometimes is that not the most energetic storm brings to them the highest damage to the shore. There has been a number of studies about this and about the so-called cluster effect. So this is what I just said. Basically, you have storms that even though they are not the most energetic, in the sequence they will do the highest damage. So we wanted to see how this translated in engineered beaches, and we chose a beach foreshore with a seawall. A seawall in the UK is the quintessential Victorian age cedar fence, and there are many surviving, but these two examples are in Italy, so in a microtidal sea rather than microtidal, so this is relevant to all over Europe. So we went to the Philippines together with the other partners, the UK, Catania, and the Netherlands countries. So we went and we tested these conditions. So we wanted to look at performance of engineered coastal defenses and mapping in realistic conditions that brought possibly quite complex boundary conditions so that we will see. So first, the aim of the project is to look at this interaction. We wanted to measure the evolution of the foreshore, to measure wave top compression and forces on the structure itself. This is the performance part. And we wanted to look at existing numerical models, how they cope with these processes and set the foundations for future improvement of these models, identify what is needed. So the idea was seawall with a long foreshore, 1 to 15, and to simulate realistic profiles of storms. So in each of we selected 2 storms of different energetic content, both with erosive conditions. So our wave height continues to change during the storm, and our level changed during the storm. And we test the most possible combination of having the highest wave height at highest water level. This is actually what exactly happened during this sequence. In particular, in the Irish Sea, we had damage given to the fact that the highest still water level concurred with the highest wave height of the highest wave level. So our beach was 0.3 meters. The seawall was nearly vertical, 10 to 1. So we have 3 sequences. Now it gets complicated, I understand. 3 sequences of these storms. Each sequence is made of 3 storms. So we had a sequence C1 in which the most energetic storm was repeated 3 times. So as you can see, each sequence was divided to make things a little bit more complex, and 6 segments. The first two were run at low still water level, the second two at high still water level, and back to low still water level. So as you can see, this is a triangular shaped storm, which is meant to represent a scaled down version of one of these Irish Sea storms. So the shape was mimicking that type, so we represent the top of this storm. So the first sequence was involving the most energetic storm 3 times. The second sequence alternated the most energetic storm with the lower energy and the higher energy back again. And finally, the third storm, lower energy, higher energy. Lower energy. So the still water level was such that the low still water level condition allowed for a very limited wash zone in front of the seawall. The high still water level was actually, I'm thanking the facility for this, was actually the highest still water level test, so it has to do with the probabilities, test the probabilities of the facility. So this is giving you a flavor of what was the instrumentation. This is a panoramic view of the Flume. We have our seawall, which was instrumented with pressure sensors, and a plate was cut from the seawall, and the log cells were put behind the plate to measure faults. You have to do that, otherwise you measure also the reaction of the seawall itself, which is not what we want. So acoustic sensor close to the wall, and the gravimetric tank to measure wave overtopping. Water was collected from the test of the seawall back into the tank, and there was a pump that you can see here that allowed the water to be removed from the tank as we during the more violent overtopping events. A combination of laser scanner, dry conditions, and mechanical profiler was used to measure the profile of the bed. So these are, again, just to look at the conditions. The wave height, the maximum wave height test was 0.8 meter, the peak period of 4.5 seconds. Again, instrumentation, so we were looking at waves with the wave gauges, the pin along the Flume, and the density of the instruments was higher. Clearly, the most interesting part corresponded more or less where we were expecting the path to form and the interaction with the structure. So we had ultrasonic sensor, the 2D laser scanner in proximity of the wall, and the 3D laser scanner that was used only in dry conditions moved along the Flume. Acoustic backscattering, three acoustic backscattering sensors looked at sediment transport, ADBs, ADBs, and the pressure sensor buried in the sand and on the wall to measure the pressure and the pressure. Examples of the signal ADB and ADS, and a detail of the sequence of the zero. Just this is the topping shoot. Central, the second was used only in the lower topping grades, just to select something. This is the first plate, and these are the pressure sensors, and these are the ultrasonic sensors, and the ADB and ADS. So, again, example this time from the laser ADB, run these and looking out the significant wave distribution and what happened to the beach just to start. So a bar was formed very quickly. We start from 1 to 15 planar slope. So it means that we are far from the equilibrium of the beach. So we have the formation of cracker bar and lowering in front of the seawall. This is what we expect. And also this created a slight increase in the wave height, significant wave height at the top, which determines very important for what I'm going to show you about the topic. So this is time stacks, and this is the most interesting part. I think it tells a lot about what was going on in the experiments. So these are time stacks of the net bed change from the initial condition. So the red indicates the accretion, so you're looking basically at the signature of the bar, and the blue indicates erosion, so this is the signature of the scour. And so we have first of the storm, second storm, third storm, and so on. So let's look at C1, which is the most demanding sequences, so the three more energetic sequences, one after each other. So we have rapid increase in the bar. You have oscillations that are given by the oscillations of the sea level and the wave conditions, but the increase is pretty evident, and you reach also a pseudo equilibrium condition quite quickly. What happens when we add the first energetic and second energetic? During the first segment is almost similar. We have a difference here. This is due to the fact that in one of these two cases, we have to stop the experiment with a slight difference here. And well, the second, the less energetic sequence, doesn't make any difference in bar migration. You see that the erosion, the bar is fed by this region, so that's what is created. Probably don't see it because it's very faint, but in this condition, there is a system of bars starting to develop here in this interbar region, while the third storm, which occurs after the less energetic one, destroys this interbar system and starts off the migration of the bar and growth of the bar again. And this is the role of the higher energy storm after the low energy storm. It's very clear here, where you have a limited compared to this growth of the bar, then the storm, second storm, the most energetic, starts the bar off and pretty much unaltered in the migration shore. Yes. So,
Few more slides.
yeah, few more slides. Yeah, so I'm running through these just to show you that the sequencing, what I just said, basically is tracked very well to track the bar height and the migration of the bar. This corresponds to the story that I told you about the role. And what we wanted to do is also to compare with natural beaches, which are quite different, really, because in the case of the seawall, you have a beach is located, so part of the supply of sediment is not available. But I cannot pronounce it well. Everyone is might help me there. I'm not pronouncing it. But okay, sorry. So basically, this study is very interesting because it aggregates a lot of either results and finds out an empirical law in which bar height and distance is related. We found an increase in this coefficient that is justified by the effect of the feeding that is given there. What is interesting, I'm going to close because I'm to present over topic, is that when you more energetic, less energetic, or vice versa, they end up in very similar state. So it means that we suggest that the integrated over time energy is more important than the way that it is understood. Speaking to the overtopping methodology, but just to give you the conclusions, what is important is that the increase in the wave height generates an increase in overtopping. For example, let's look at what happens to the smaller energy. when the lower energy storm follows the higher energy one, because of this increase, bits overtopping might be significantly higher. So looking at overtopping from an individual storm might be, actually not be in favor of, conservative in favor of design. Going to past, these are results of our numerical prediction. What we wanted to do is to test both mobile and fixed bed numerical models. Mobile bed, they have a problem of not being able to simulate sandbars, fragile bars quite efficiently, so we had to use fixed bed models. But these are industry standard. But there is an uncertainty. What do you use? The initial bed profile before the storm or after the storm, we find out that the overtopping prediction increases significantly when you define that profile. Go to the conclusions, hopefully in a few seconds we'll be able we'll find out the role in the Bregling bar relation, important analysis on the overtopping. Careful don't look like there is a little stop only, and we find out some guidelines for engineers to work with fixed bed models. Yes.
Thank you very much.